So I'm running a little bit late this morning, but I'm heading off to the darkroom for a day of printing, which is something I've not done in a little while. I started printing my photos about maybe 2 years ago when I did a workshop at Rapid Eye in London. The finish of a handprint is just something that I fell in love with straight away. I love kind of just the way it looks and the quality and richness of the colours, but also having like a physical copy of your work in such a digital age is also really useful and nice to have. So today I'm heading to Come Through Lab, who you guys might already know as the photo lab that I use that develops and scans all of my film when I'm in Manchester. They recently opened up a darkroom of their own, so I'm going to head in for a full day session of printing stuff in the darkroom. I'm going to get ready and we're going to leave because I have 20 minutes to get there. Okay, so I am in the darkroom and I've just collected some negatives and I brought a few with me that I had from home, and I'm just deciding if there's anything I want to print really. So today, because I'm in here all day, my intention is to print some half frame stuff because I've never printed half frame before, and also to print some medium format, which I usually print. So this is a recent shoot with Carey that you will have seen on the channel. I'm not really sure if I want to print these ones particularly, but there were some from another look we did. So put that onto the discard pile. These ones were some kind of like failed double exposures, but I think that might be fun because I don't know how they'd come out printed. So I'm going to keep that as a maybe. These are from the same shoot, so that would be a maybe. These are the ones of Kai that I think I might want to print, in particular these ones here. So I'll keep that one also as a maybe. These are from a trip I did to Ireland with my family, and I think that one is also a maybe. There's a few there, half frames, that I might want to print from. This one is a definite, but I don't know which ones I want to print from yet. This is the recent shoot I did with Gerard that you'll have seen documented on the channel. So yeah, keep those ones out. What have we got here? These are some street prints from when I went to Amsterdam, and I actually think I definitely want to print from that as well, so we'll put that on the pile. I don't know how much of this I'm going to get through today, but we'll make contact sheets for as many of these as I can. So this is my contact sheet pile, basically. I'm going to make some contact sheets from these now and get started. So to make a contact sheet, you essentially load your negatives into this glass bit, place your paper down here, set your exposure, and it will project the negatives that are connected here onto the paper. So that's what I'm going to do now. Sometimes you can tape it on, but I don't think I have any tape. And then when I'm in the darkroom, I'm going to place my paper on this side, close this down, and expose the paper. So my paper is actually smaller than these negatives, so I need to like work out the best way to do it. So let me push that bit down. So this is the workspace. You have your main enlarger here, then you have a pre-flashing enlarger here. This is our contact sheet holder. Down here we have an easel for when we actually create our prints. We have a couple of different masks and lenses. You have a lens fitted in here now. This is the space. And when you shut the door, it is pitch black in here. This is the only light you can see is from this bit here, completely dark. So the first thing that I do when I'm doing anything like this is I write down the numbers for the test. So we've got C at 0, that's going to stay the same the whole way through. So let me just write number 1. So C 0, M is 70, Y is 45. The reason I do that is just so that I can then make reference to what I need to change basically when I'm outside of the darkroom. Now I'm in the dark. I'm going to take out my paper. I'm actually noticing a tiny bit of light coming through here. Let me shut that. It's always really hard to open my paper box in the dark for the first time. I'm taking one bit of paper out. And I'm placing it on the foam with the emulsion side up. Shut my box. Okay, so paper is on the foam. I'm going to carefully shut the negative holder. Then I'm going to grab a big bit of cardboard and I'm going to cover up part of the paper. Set 2 seconds on the exposure. Move the paper, another 2 seconds. 4 lots of 2 seconds in total. Open the negative holder, take out the paper, put it into my black bag. And now I'm gonna head in here and feed the paper into the paper tray. And that is the first contact sheet in, and we're just gonna wait for it now to print it out and work out the colors and the exposure. So this gives us an idea of exposure and also of color. So obviously way too dark and way too magenta. To get rid of the magenta cast, we have to add to the magenta. So let me get my little notepads. On that round, we did 4 lots of 2 seconds. Okay, so if it's dark, then there's too much light. I need to note down as well that I did this at F4. So we had 2 seconds down here, 4, 6, and then 8 up there, somewhere around 4. But also I might stop down the lens and try this again. And then magenta, we're at 70, so let's go up to 80. Okay, so I think that this magenta shift is actually not from the color, but it's from the lever being pulled down. So I've just changed the lever. I'm gonna keep the colors the same this time. And then exposure wise, I think I'm kind of happy with something like this at the bottom. Obviously, taking off that filter has made it a lot lighter. So that means we need a bit more light, but at least I can kind of see the colors here now too. So obviously we're way too green. Let's have a look at just like the blacks to work out the colors. So we've got too much green, so we need to subtract magenta. So let's go M50, Y45, F8, 6 seconds, and see how that looks. Moment of truth. I think we're still a little bit high on the magenta, but I'm going to do like the final adjustments on the main print rather than the contact sheet. This is just a good idea of seeing what I want to print. Let's go and stick it on the board. Okay, so at the moment, I think I'm leaning towards printing this one, maybe one of these 3. And I would like to get one of these. Okay, bring it over here. And we are looking for this negative to start. So we're gonna pop this negative, let's turn this light on, into this holder. Okay, I was taught to hold this at a bit of an angle when you air blow. I think I've actually got that in backwards. See, this is my problem, is I know that one way, I know that you have to do it one way, but I can't remember which way is the right way. So we're just gonna go like that and hope for the best. When I put it in the projector, I should be able to work out which way it is anyway. And let's put the focus on, and then I can work it out. Yeah, that looks like the right way. Okay, now time to focus this up. So for this one, I'm going to take this off. This is the thing that I forgot to turn off earlier. This is our easel. So I'm going to get a contact sheet and use the back of this to measure where my paper needs to go. Okay, and tighten that one. And bring this one up. And now we know where it's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to put this paper in so that I can focus on the thickness of the paper to fine tune. So I'll find the contrasty part of the image. Let me open this up even more just so that we can really see. So we're looking for some sort of grain to focus on. Let's try down here. I think that's in focus. Move that out of the way. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now let me set this back to 8. Let me turn that off. Take this bit of paper out, we don't need it. Turn off the focus. And then I'm going to do a test with the same settings as we've got on this board, but we're going to do a strip test of probably 2 seconds again and just work out, maybe 5. No, we'll go in between, we'll go 3 seconds. Okay, now time to make my first test print. So laying the paper in between the section that we've carved out on the easel. Make sure that it's not covered anywhere. This bit I always find really tricky because you're in the dark and you can't see. And I feel like I second guess myself and then I move it where it doesn't need to go. This is just a test sheet anyway. Right, so paper's in place. Now I'm going to shut my paper box just to make sure no light gets to it. And I'm going to hold this bit of cardboard on top of my paper, being careful not to move the paper, and set the timer for 3 seconds. Okay, so I had too much paper exposed there, so I'm only going to manage 3 lots of 3. So we've got 9 seconds of exposure in total. Pop this into the black bag and then head into the next darkroom, the processing darkroom. So my first print, C0, M50, Y45, F8 for 3 lots of 3 seconds. Okay, so this is our first print. Let's put it on the board. I'm getting a lot of like curling. I think I might be putting the paper into the processor the wrong way around. Okay, so we did 3 lots of 3, which means the darkest bit is always the bit with the most light. So that's 9, and we've got 3 down here. 3 looks pretty good actually. I'll probably do a test print of this at 4 because it looks a little bit light in this section here. So when it comes to the skin and that, I want to make sure that that's well done. And also this looks quite good here, and this would have been 6. So yeah, I think we're going to go in at 4 just for a test print to test the colours. I find that after your first few prints you kind of get back into the hang of it. It's been so long since I was properly in the darkroom. I did a little tester session maybe last month in this darkroom, but that was really my first time in the darkroom probably for about a year. So this is something I want to be doing more of so that it becomes just a quicker, easier process for me. 4 seconds is quite a quick exposure time, so I might need to have a look at changing that up, but to be fair, things are going to change again when I add a pre-flash. Anyway, it doesn't matter about getting things perfect. This whole kind of printing session is not about me ending up with some perfect prints. It's about me getting back into the darkroom, me practicing and feeling a bit more confident with my printing skills. I don't know if I'm the only one that does this, but whenever I am in the darkroom, I close my eyes, even though it's dark in there and you can't see anything anyway. But yeah, I feel like it just helps me focus a bit. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I managed to move the paper on this one, so it's a little bit wonky. Exposure-wise, I'm quite happy, although it is a little bit dark at the top. So maybe having 3 seconds on the top, 4 seconds at the bottom, if I want to do some dodging and burning. Now in terms of the colours, because they're not speaking to me, so maybe let's add a pre-flash, because we do have a lot of like highlights in this section here and here. So maybe a pre-flash will help. We also have a bit of a hotspot on its forehead. So maybe let's go in with a pre-flash and then have a look at exposure again. So to pre-flash, essentially, I'm going to be using this here, and I'm going to be exposing the paper for maybe like 2 seconds. It's basically just going to do a really diffused flash. So let's take this over. Okay, so I changed quite a few things on this. I changed the f-stop. I also did this pre-flash, so you can see my hand outline here to see what it looked like without and what it looked like with. So I definitely like the tone of the pre-flash. I think I'm definitely going to keep that. You can see how it's filled in here in the highlights. It just looks a lot nicer. So I had 2 seconds on the pre-flash here, and I think I had a 4-second exposure, but we are a little bit light. You can see in the shadows, it's way too light compared to this one. So I'm gonna go up to maybe just a stop, go to 5 seconds, keep the pre-flash at 2, and see what we're at when it comes to colors on a full print with those settings. This is looking a little bit too magenta to me. I want to take it over to the color thing, whatever this thing is called. A bit annoying because of the glossy paper, but hopefully we can get a better view of the colors. And yeah, definitely too much magenta involved. So too much magenta means add magenta. And I'm just going to do a strip test because I don't want to waste a ton of paper. So we're going to do another strip and try and get these colors a bit better. So yeah, going to try and get this a little bit less magenta, a little bit darker here, and hopefully that should be good. So we are definitely getting somewhere. This is less magenta, we're looking better in the skin tones. I feel like we could maybe take out a little bit more magenta. Okay, I am much happier with these colors now. In fact, even looking at this magenta one, this is starting to look too green, but I am actually happy with this. This is more of what I was going for. So we're gonna make a final print with these settings, and then I can see everything and see if there's any final tweaks that I want to make. But I'm pretty happy. There's enough detail in the dark sections. Highlights look okay. I think I'm going to give that one a go. Okay, so whilst I'm waiting for that to print, I'm going to have a look at which photo I want to print next from this collection. I think I'm going to do something with slightly different lighting, so I'm thinking maybe this one. The good thing is I can basically just use the colors and do an exposure test. Obviously these are a lot darker, but we can kind of go from there. So it should be a little bit of a quicker process. So I'm going to get the negatives ready now. So we're going to start off with this one here. Okay. So I am happy with this as a final print. Not the best print you'll have ever seen in the world, and not my best print for sure, but a good start to the day. And it is now 12 o'clock, so I've got 5 hours left to make some more prints. So let's go. Let's take a look. So this is our first test. This includes a pre-flash. So we've got a pre-flash of 2 seconds, and then we did 4 sets of 2. So we've got 2 up here, 4 here, 6 here. Okay, so straight away, definitely 4. Kind of happy with the colors as well, actually. I'm going to make a full print at 4 seconds with these colors, with this pre-flash, and see what it looks like. Noticed that I might not be in the negative holder quite right, so I'm gonna adjust that. So I must have got it wrong that this was 4 seconds, because this is the new print and it's definitely not matching that. So we're gonna go a bit more exposure time on this. Okay, I am much happier with this print. The colors just look so much richer, and I don't really mind the fact that it's a little bit dark in the shadows because it was quite a moody photo, as you can see. So yeah, I'm much happier with that. We're going to move on to printing some of these and then move on to another sheet. print, I feel like we're looking a little bit lifeless, which is annoying. It's a little bit grey in the skin tones up here. This is obviously, so I think I want to warm it up a little bit. I might also try to lighten it up a bit. So let's add an extra second on the pre-flash, give it some more warm undertones, and take a second off of the main exposure, and I'll see what that does, but I'm just going to do a strip just in case. Increasing the pre-flash and making it a bit brighter did look a bit better, but it was a little bit strong on the pre-flash. So I've just done a print that's printing now where this is half a second less, and we'll see how that looks. But in the meantime, I'm going to sort out a contact sheet for this. Okay, new sheet, new contact sheet. Obviously a lot darker here. 9 is probably gonna give us the best, because I probably wanna print from this section and this one here. So let's go to 9. So we got 2 contact sheets from this sheet. The reason that they are super blue is for 2 reasons. I was using really cold lighting here, and also both of these rolls were Cinestill 800T. So the shots that I want to print from, I want to print from this one here, and these ones here. But there's a lot of work to be done kind of color-wise. I'm going to load, I think these ones first, because these colors are closer to what I want, and then we're going to do those ones after. So let's get these in the negative folder. Okay, so this was our 3-second test. This is 3-second exposure with a 2.5 second pre-flash, and I really like the pre-flash on this. So you can see where my handprint is where the pre-flash is not affecting the print, and where it is darker is where the pre-flash is. So I'm going to do a full print with these settings now. So we'll see what it looks like on a full print. I shot this in the studio. I'm going to put the scan up on screen now, and I'm really interested to see how there's actually a gradient background here, and I'm really interested to seeing how that prints compared to the scan. You can see it here, it's not that prominent because of the cold tones, so I think we'll warm it up and see if those kind of colours pop out a bit. So adding a lot of magenta back into the image because this one was a little bit too green. I think I've kind of found the colours that I like. It's difficult to see on the camera. This is a lot better. It's a lot more what I wanted. Skin tones are looking better. They were way too green on this print, so added magenta, and we got a lot of the backdrop gradient through again. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to print with those settings on the next one as well. So this one I got like a crazy light leak on because I hadn't closed the bag properly, but I actually did that on purpose because I wanted to see what it would do to the image, and I actually really like it because it kind of looks like really fiery. Obviously I also printed a proper one. I'm happy with these 2 prints. I think they look good. The colours in the background do exactly what I wanted. There's a subtle gradient between the dark, this was blue down here and this was like an orange, so it created like a purple as it blended, and I'm really happy with those. So I'm going to move on to the next roll. I'm probably going to print just a couple of frames from this roll of half frames. So I'm not actually going to do a contact sheet for this. I'm just going to go straight in with a couple of prints. So I'm going to switch over this now. So because these are half frames, I want to find 2 that look good together, and I want to make a print of both together. So from my memory, what I want to do is somewhere around the bottom. I think we'll go with these 2 here. Flip it over because they are backwards. I did like this one too, but these are on the same frame, so let's do that. I don't know how this is going to work because obviously they're 2 different exposures, but I really like the idea of making one print with both of them. The ones on the end of the strip are always the most difficult to get into place. Okay, and we have something there. I'm gonna make a print. Okay, so the thing is that both of these photos are really underexposed, the negatives are really thin. So I am having a bit of a problem because this is at f22, so it's as narrow as the aperture can go. And this is at 3 seconds. So we're gonna have to probably do an even shorter exposure, which is crazy because this is still really dark. Okay, so I printed this one at 2 seconds and then I realized it was out of focus. So I went back and realized that the lens was not on properly. So I think that might have also been affecting the exposure. So this one here, we've still got, I did these in 2 second intervals. So we're still looking at like 3 seconds, but I'm gonna do another print at 3 seconds now to see what that looks like. But let's take a look. So this was 2.5 seconds. I think this is the best exposure that I've managed to get on this. I think that's as good as that one's getting, to be honest. I'm looking at a couple more that I might do. I'm tempted by maybe these two here. Also maybe these here, these ones here, or these ones here. So I might have a little go of these. So this one I actually really like. I added a pre-flash of 2 seconds and it was a 10-second exposure, and just the creaminess of the pre-flash just I think works really well with like the, I guess the vintage vibe. You know, these are shot in Notting Hill and just having like these newspapers and stuff, it looks quite vintage. And yeah, I'm happy with that. This was the test for exposures. Decided that 12 seconds was pretty good, but wanted to add a pre-flash, so changed it to 10 and did a 2 second pre-flash. I'm also really happy with how kind of good these look for 35mm half frames, because I printed some 35 on Harman Phoenix that I just really didn't like because of the grain structure. But then I printed some Cinesteel 800T from 35 that I really did like. So I guess it's just the film stock. I think, I can't remember what this was exactly. Let me have a look. I think this was actually motion picture. So I think it was Vision 500 or 250 maybe. For my final set of prints, I'm gonna make some contact sheets from these negatives from Amsterdam. So I know that there is one photo in particular that I really want to print. Let's see which roll it's on. This one here. So we're gonna start with this contact sheet, and then I might make contact sheets of the other two, and then decide what I'm gonna print from there. Okay, that is me done for today. I don't really have time to make any further prints, but I got a ton of prints done and did some contact sheets for the next session. I know it's time to kind of finish now because I'm running out of time, I'm running out of paper, and I'm getting tired. I'm making stupid mistakes, like I just opened the door without putting my paper in the bag. So yeah, it's time to go now. I will of course have scanned in these prints and put them on the screen. But thank you guys for joining me for a long day, a long video, I'm sure this will be, and something a little bit different. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more Darkroom stuff, then let me know.